I know Kung Fu. Hello, it's Grant Bruner here, the editor-in-chief of Video Game Town. I just wanted to do a little Matrix stream. I'm into the Matrix. There hasn't been a good Matrix game for a long time. They did do a weird Unreal Engine demo, and I figured it's been years now. I should play it. Revisit it. I don't think you can get this at all. It's like if you have it on your like PlayStation or Xbox account, then you can play it, but everyone else can fuck off. The city part, everything that doesn't have the Matrix branding, I think is available. You can build it from Unreal Engine assets. Like you can bake it so that it's playable, but all of the shit that has like it's Neo. Like all of this shit is not accessible unless you actually add it to your account during this time. And I think for a while it was like if it wasn't installed, it was broken. Like you couldn't re-download it. I think at some point they fixed that, but it was really impressive. And there have been some very good looking Unreal Engine 5 games. I don't think any of them look as good as this. Like some of them perform better for sure, because the performance on this is kind of ass on a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox. But it looks really, really fucking good. Because that's not a game. Like they didn't have to build a game to do it. What is real?
Hi, I'm Keanu Reeves. Over 20 years ago, I first played the character.
Also, I am an enormous Matrix defender in pretty much every capacity. I think that the original sequels, 2 and 3, are very good, and I think Resurrections is exceptional. I just think it's the coolest thing. And like I am a person who's I'm not a fool. Like I understand that as an action movie, Resurrections, it pales in comparison to the first 3, especially the first one, but all 3 are good action movies. And this is not like it is a serviceable action movie, but in terms of like it's kind of like a sequel thing, kind of, done by Lana, and it's just so fucking cool. Like I'm so glad. Like I think it is the best timeline, which is that they kind of forced the Wachowskis' hands and like, hey, either you folks do it or we fucking do it. And Lana said, okay, fine, fuck it, I'll do it. Kind of like but I get to do it however the fuck I want, and you don't get to tell me no. Which I'm sure is not exactly how that went, but mostly that. Like, you give me X dollars and then you shut the fuck up and I make a movie.
The hell are you doing back there?
We got like a really fucking amazing thing that I just like. I love the way that it ends. It also like disincentivizes, I feel like, Warner Brothers from revisiting The Matrix, at least anytime soon, which I think is good. And like, obviously, I think we would live in a better world when people saw that, one, people did go to see Matrix 4, and 2, if they had seen it, they would be like, yeah, this is that good shit. I think we would be in a better world, but if we don't live in that better world, I'm kind of glad that it's like we did the reboot. We did, like, not the reboot, but like we revisited the Matrix, and it did fine. It was weird. COVID fucked everything up, and so like all of the numbers, all of the box office stuff is like, it's impossible to draw any meaningful conclusions about it. It's such a cool movie, and I'm so glad it exists. And I really hope that the Wachowskis get to make movies again, or like if they don't want to make movies, then like go with God, do whatever makes you happy. But like, if they do want to do movies, if it's just Lana, if it's Lana and Lily, like, cause like even if you say like Lily's all the way out, doesn't want to do, you know, the old shtick. Even if that is true now, maybe that's not true in 10 years. Also, like, who knows what anything in society is like? Like, we're in a nightmare world. Like, everything you thought was secured is no longer secured. So, like, I don't know. I've been revisiting some of their other movies. Like, I think Cloud Atlas. Like, I don't think Cloud Atlas is a perfect movie. And if I was in their position, I maybe would do the race stuff. I wouldn't do Yellowface. I think that's like, I don't think that they have ill intentions. I don't think that they were in any way attempting to mock Asian people. But it's I think I wouldn't do it. I certainly wouldn't do it. So I like there are problems I think with Cloud Atlas, but I think about that. I think about that movie regularly, and like because it's kind of like I think it's 6 movies all in one, and it's kind of an amazing thing. Like it didn't do very well, but it's kind of outlandish that they got to make it. I like Jupiter. Like I like all their movies to some extent or the other, to like varying degrees. I like Jupiter Ascending, but I think of, like I don't think about that movie like, oh man, I like have all these really warm feelings about it in the same way that I have like Cloud Atlas or the Matrix movies or Sense 8 or whatchamacallit, the Speed Racer. The only one that I have not seen is Bound, and I have a copy. I'm going to watch it. I am going to watch it in the coming weeks. I intend to watch Bound. It's the only Wachowski film I have not seen. So that's like that's the Matrix-y demo-y part, which is cool. I had a good time. It runs kind of like ass, but the second part is the really wild thing. Or it's showing you how it can be used in a game, and it's like there isn't like actual like plots and things to do meaningfully. Well, you do get to explore like a fully built out city, and it's fucking incredible. Like I think the textures in this are really hard to argue with. Like I think when this came out, I was showing my wife, I showed my parents, which is like I never show my parents anything about video games. Like they don't care. But I'm just like, you need to sit down, and I'm going to demonstrate this to you because it's fucking crazy. And you know, there's like things where I feel like we were sold a bill of goods. I think that Unreal Engine 5 can look good, but I don't think we've gotten anywhere close to what this is kind of like the promise of this demo. So you could just walk around the city as that person, and you can see how weird this blur is. Then I need to like figure out what there we go. Altitude up. And you can just fly anywhere in this whole fucking city. And you can just look, you can just go up close and look. And then, but like, look at the, let me get to, to a reflective surface. Here we go. Think how, like, it's why, where, like, it will be reflecting, like, you can set it up in such a way that, like, you're reflecting off of a surface that's then being reflected. And like, I know you can do that's like high-end PC stuff that you can do, but like, that is the first time seeing how buck wild the reflections can be on this generation of hardware. Spider-Man, I will say, have to give credit to Insomniac. Their reflections are really, really, really awesome. Like, they did a great job. Like, you can fly all the way up and you can just look at, like, here's detail. Fly all the way up. And, like, look at, like, look at the nitty-gritty detail on this fucking, like, nothing building. It isn't like, oh, that building is special. Like, pick any building. Let's fly this building. And, like, look at this fucking, hold on. There's bags of trash. Look at all this gravel detail. And, like, listen, obviously, like, you're reusing assets, but the way it's done is just so incredible. How detailed everything is, and you can just kind of pick any part of the world. I want to find one of the really impressive things to me was the chain fences. Let me see if I can go fly around to find a chain fence. Oh, I think there's chain fences. This stuff under bridges reminds me of an area that would have a chain fence. So you can see how, like, sometimes yeah. Hold on. Let me slow down. Where, like, you can see, like, the bending of the, where, like, I feel like in even now in video games, you see this and it would just be like a billboard. Like, it would just be basically a sprite. But this is, like, you can see the metal, like, intricately folded to make the, it's fucking, it's wild. All of the car stuff, like, let me, like, look at this trash. Ugh. Can I get through here or do I have to transit? God damn it. I feel like I can drive, right? I'm pretty sure that there's a... Do they not have a driving? In my brain, you could drive. Yeah, okay. I just couldn't drive those cars for some fucking reason. Yeah, in my memory, I could drive. And they just built all of this shit. And, like, obviously, it's a tech demo, it's for their tools and all that shit, but it's like, you put all of this work into it and you just didn't, you couldn't fund a Matrix game. I would just love a Matrix game. And there's, you know, like there's like the PS2 era games, which are fine and like of the era, and then obviously there's Matrix Online, which doesn't really exist anymore, although I'm sure there's fan server shit. Like very impressive, very ambitious. Like ambitious, I think is probably what you could just say about every Wachowski project. And it wasn't like Matrix Online was a Wachowski project. Like obviously they weren't like hand coding the fucking video game, but like they were involved in a serious way, in like a we care about this a lot kind of way. And it's like, this is the sequel to the Matrix, and whatever, it did fine. It had its crowd, like its defenders, but it would never became like, it was never like a wow type. How do I, okay. It was never like a wild success. It was a mild success, a limited success, which is kind of how you have to say about like most Wachowski things, except for the Matrix, of like, this is beloved by some people, which like I would say me for most things, certainly. It is very funny that the first movie they ever get to make, where they're like, what about lesbians? We're very interested in lesbians. And everyone's like, well, yeah, of course they would be interested in lesbians. And not like, these are queer women. Right. Which is not to say, like, cis men can't tell stories that involve lesbians. That's not what I'm saying. But it's like, oh, well, yeah, that's a thing you're thinking about a lot. Like, yeah, okay, sure, that checks out. I don't know if there is a game that looks this good. Like, or let me put it this way: you could probably make Cyberpunk 2077 look better than this on a PC, like a very high-end PC. So like, I'm not saying that you can't have a game, especially if like you're including mods and stuff, have a game that looks better than this on extremely expensive hardware. No doubt, you can do that. I have seen it on, you know, video on the internet for sure. I'm not disagreeing that it's like, I'm not saying that it's like not you're not capable of doing it. What I'm saying is like, on the PS5, on the Xbox Series X, I don't know if there has been an actual game that is with the graphical fidelity. Let's see. You can fuck with the exposure. I kind of like it a little bit brighter. Not a ton brighter, just a little bit. Fuck with the aperture. Focal length. You can fuck with the sun's rotation. Look at that. It's fucking incredible. You turn the crowd all the way off. You can have visualizations of the things, because this is running on like, so it allows you to do the really big scale stuff, is that they're running algorithms in the background that are simulating stuff like the flow of traffic and things like that. The matrix filter, yeah, that's a thing you can make it because it's the matrix, so it's green-ish. You could just turn that off, and so you can also change. This is using Nanite, so you can look at the different like levels of things that the engine is doing. Controls, and here's like the whole map. Yeah, it's fucking cool as shit. Like, look at that. They're telling me video games look this good? Not dog. Not on a console. Not on a regular PlayStation 5. There are some good-looking games. Spider-Man is a great example of you can make a very good-looking game. I don't think it looks as good as this. Imagine, oh my god, imagine if we could have Yakuza games that looked like this. Like, I don't think it necessarily has to look like this, but this level of fidelity is what I mean. I mean, they would never do it because you have to make one of those every like 10 months. But good lord. I want to find... I think the reflections look really good. Not perfect or anything. Like, obviously, like, you can have higher fidelity things, but can it run on a PlayStation 5 is the question. I do think that as PSSR has evolved, you probably make things look a lot better now on PlayStation 5 Pros. You could probably end up doing a lot of because you know if you're using that to fill in a lot of gaps and like rendering at a lot lower resolution, you can then turn on a lot more of the things and still run at like a reasonably good frame rate. Because that's kind of the core problem with lots of these games on this generation of hardware, where it's like you can turn on, you know, ray tracing and like it looks pretty good, but you want to play with unstable 30 frames per second, or you want to turn it off, and then you have like 60 frames per second at a lower resolution with no cool shadows and stuff. And you go like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna run this at 60 frames per second. It is cool to turn on. Like, it's extremely cool to turn on and look at. Like, I'm not saying that this is like perfectly photorealistic. It's not. What I'm saying is there's like moments, like you look at that and like, oh, that's like approaching photorealism. Like if you're just looking at it, like kind of, like look at that shit. Isn't that crazy? And like this whole fucking island, like look at that. It's a big place. And like, look at all these details. Like, you have blown out tires and stuff. And like, listen, I know that this is like pulling from, like, there's more blown out tires, and so like, it's not like there's infinite detail. Obviously, they're pulling from a bank of things that they've done. But like, fuck, is it like pretty easy to believe? Like, that's fucking cool, dude. Look at that. I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen more asset flips with Unreal Engine. Of just like what's available through Unreal Engine, the Unreal Engine asset store, or whatever the fuck it's called, whatever it is. Like, kind of surprised that there isn't more of that. But I also wonder if it's just because like people don't have fucking computers. People don't have, you know, like $3,000 fucking computers that can run that. Like, or not that people don't, but like not enough people have that for that to make it, for that to be profitable. Where like you're like, it's an asset flip on Castlevania ripoff sprites. You go like, oh, that's okay. Yeah, people can probably run that. People are going to buy that on their fucking phones or whatever. But like, the pool of potential people. The other thing is like the people who have very fancy, very expensive machines are probably going to be more discerning on what they buy. They're not going to just buy random bullshit, or they're less likely to buy random bullshit. Whereas if it's, you know, hey, this looks like Minecraft or whatever, yeah, you're probably going to be able to sell that. You're gonna, you know, if you price it at $199, you're probably going to be able to sell tens of thousands of that rip-off thing or whatever. I'm walking over here. I love this, and I love The Matrix, and I love the Wachowskis. And you just get the feeling that they're never gonna make a movie again. Like I would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong. But like you hear people, you go back and you like read and you listen to people talk about them around like Jupiter Ascending and then Sense8, and it's like, oh man, the next Wachowski movie. And I'm just like, there isn't gonna be an next Wachowski's movie. There isn't going to be a pool. I love it, and you should too. And if you have this sitting on your account somewhere, if you have a you know, on your PlayStation account or your Xbox account, you should go fucking play around and just look at look at that. You tell me that's not good looking? Get out of my face. And you can just watch, and you can just watch, like if you pick a truck, you can just watch them as they, you know, they simulate their route or whatever. In this demo that they sold for $0. And obviously, as you know, the thing, it's an advertisement. They're advertising to people to, hey, please license our engine to make your video games. And please buy video games that are made with the Unreal Engine, and also please go see The Matrix. Like, you know, it's a mega ad. It's an ad on an ad, but goddamn, if that isn't a delightful little thing. And I just pray one day that we get a Matrix game that is an actual for real Matrix game. And you know, in a modern way, obviously the PS2 stuff, like the old games, still exist. In some ways, you can't buy them. Like you can't buy them in a store or something. Like it would be a different thing if you could just like buy it on the PlayStation Store or on Steam or something. But to my knowledge, you can't do any of that. You would have to like either find it on eBay, or you would have to download an ISO or whatever, which is good, like that it exists to preserve, but that's no way to treat a video game. It's no way to hey, if you want to play this, you have to go find an ISO, is a shitty way to keep your video games around, or to treat the video games that you made. Like you should, when at all possible, make them playable places. It's cool. But I think that's going to be enough, but this is my final message to you. The Matrix, go watch The Matrix. If nothing else, go rewatch The Matrix. Alrighty. Goodbye.